theme music, whatever it is.
We have to find some cool Avatar music.
There's a lot of it,
Asian
though.
jazz. All right. Oh my gosh, am I leading this? What was I gonna say?
I led the last several episodes.
Yeah. Like the whole last Firefly. All right. So welcome back to our latest episode of First Reaction Fan Reaction. I am your host, Kaylin Clothier, and with me is my co-host,
Dara Whitman.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey,
I was debating if I was going to do the thing that you did during Firefly. I'm like, nah.
We all need our own trademarks here.
Yeah.
But okay, so this might be a little different because we have switched series. We have finished Firefly on our previous episode. We finished Serenity. We had a lot of words to say about that one. If you missed that, you're going to have to go back and listen because that was certainly a run through. But now we are back and things have switched. I am the fan and Dara is the first reaction, and we are starting with one of my favorites, animated series titled The Legend of Korra. So just a little background, The Legend of Korra is a sequel series to one of what I consider a classic Avatar: Last Airbender, a show that aired back in, 2004 to 2008, I believe.
Hey, Kaylin, why are we not starting with Avatar: The Last Airbender? We're going straight to the sequel series.
That's a great question because both of us have watched it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big animation person in general, but I really like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a good little show.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my personal favorites. If you ever get me talking about it, I'll talk about it for a very, 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 very long time.
Yes.
And I'm a huge fan of it. Know a lot. But anyway, and I watched that back in its original run. And so when did you watch the entire series of the original Avatar series?
Well, I think because I remember that was probably a big inspiration for this idea, this podcast. Because I think I started sophomore year of college, and we had a class together, and I found out the whole series, and I just watched it, and I just remember because that was the fun thing of watching somebody react to something. Because I would come into the one class we had, and I would just yell, saying "What just happened?" I remember when Appa got kidnapped, I'm just but, and I was so sad. And then other stuff happened, and I was I remember, what was it? My roommate who had also watched the series. I didn't have my headphones in, so I was watching it, and then she comes in and she hears something, and I just I have this look on my face, and she's "Are you watching Avatar: Last Airbender?" And it was season 2, so I'm just fucking Azula, this bitch. I was so
true. Oh, so true. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But so, because I remember back, like I said, in college, our collage days, that's when Legend of Korra was still airing, and I was you should watch it. You're I'm gonna wait till it's done. And
I think that's one reason, because full disclosure, we're talking about the pilot. I have seen the pilot. I watched it right after I finished Avatar: Last Airbender, but it's been a while. Yeah, at least 3 years.
Right.
But I said, I think the show was really close to, because this was 2013.
Yeah.
So it was really close to ending. So I just figured I'd just wait, and then I never got around to it.
Yeah. And so then we kept it until this podcast, so you can hear Dara's live first reaction, and you can hear my passionate fan reaction, because I do love Avatar, and I also love this series as well. So this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Hooray.
Yeah. All right. So we get start with the first episode. Okay. The first episode is titled "Welcome to Republic City."
That makes sense.
It aired back in 2012. I don't think I realized how long ago this aired. I mean, we were still in high school when it aired.
We were just about to graduate.
High school. Yeah.
We're old, aren't we?
Yeah, we're a little old.
We're not. We say we're old. We're not even that old.
We're not, but we feel old. So this series is set 70 years after the end of the previous series, and it follows the new Avatar, whose name is Korra, and she is of Water Tribe origins.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, that's the cycle. Yeah, that's how it does.
Also, everybody's dead.
Everybody you love.
Mostly everybody's dead.
Is dead. Sort of.
Which makes sense because 70 years. I like that. I like the fact that it's not just a sequel series for it's kind of what Fantastic Beasts is. It's just in the same universe.
Yeah, but
it's not the continuation of the story, because then you can run it dry.
Yeah, well, that's what the comics are for. If you are a fan of the comics,
never read them.
Yeah, I not too into them. I'm looking forward to Legend of Korra comics. On a side note, those come out this summer, and I'm very excited for those. Anyway, so we start off this episode kind of in a flashback. It's kind of when the White Lotus, who, if you asked a couple questions when watching this about the White Lotus.
Mainly, who are they?
Yeah. Do you remember it was the end of the original series, and it was pretty much like a group of old people, like all the old people came together and they knew each other, and it was like a whole secret society thing. They kind of morphed, I think, from the previous series to being like the secret society of a bunch of old people from across all the nations.
Which season? The third one?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, they first talked about it in the second season, book 2, and then book 3 is like when they all came out. It was like in the season finale. Anyway, but they kind of evolved to being this kind of like society of people who protect the Avatar. Pretty much, that's all I gotta know.
I would also say, full disclosure, I don't know if I've really mentioned this to you. I actually haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender since like I watched it.
Yeah, so
like I have the whole series on DVD, but like I never really watched. I've like repeated a couple episodes, but I haven't actually watched it in a while. Yeah. So some stuff I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's what I'm here for. I'm a walking encyclopedia of Avatar knowledge.
There we go.
Also, I have the wiki up right now. So we open with the White Lotus goes to like some little place in the Water Tribe, and they're like,
Water Tribe.
Thank you. And they're like, we heard the Avatar might be here. And they're like, oh, this is the Avatar. Like, how can you be so sure? And then little Korra comes up and she's like, I'm the Avatar. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, and then she like shows like she can clearly like waterbend and earthbend and firebend.
Yeah, she's got 3 of those elements down. And then from there, we flash forward until, we don't
know how old she is in the first scene.
No.
So I assumed like she was at least like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So you jump like probably 10 years.
Like 10 years in the future. She's 17 and she's taking her firebending test for her, to show that she's mastered the element of fire bending. And then they're like, you fight good, kid, but you're terrible with spirit stuff.
Yeah, I remember like I was going to ask this, like before, not like when I was like thinking about it, because I was like thinking like, didn't Aang also like, it felt like he picked up the elements like fairly well, like easily too.
Very fast.
Yeah, so like I'm thinking, and I know like obviously Aang was really good with spirit stuff.
Yeah, being an airbender kind of naturally.
You're good with spirit stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought like, oh yeah, but like he's good with spirit stuff, and he also, but I thought he picked up a lot of the elements like fairly quickly. I mean like I
kind of had to.
I know like Earth, he had
part
it,
of the plot.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because like with this one, like I said, like there didn't seem like there was much of a threat.
Yeah, not like a whole global threat like there was in the original series.
And then Korra like clearly is just like really good at all these elements.
Yeah,
but
she fight good.
She'd fight good, but she's also, I mean, she's a teenager.
Yeah,
I kind of wonder like Aang was a teenager. He probably, well, actually no,
Aang was 12.
I know,
and Korra's 17. So there's a few more years there. She's also a lady. She's a lady. But. Yeah. So, and then they're like, and oh yeah, Katara's there.
Oh yeah, she's the one who's not dead.
She's old. She's one of the.
She's not dead.
The few who's still
which
around.
Makes me. I'm like, somebody's alive.
So at least somebody is alive to give us exposition.
I find it. I don't know if I find it interesting that Katara's the only one who's alive. Like obviously, Aang has to be dead because
that's kind of how you get the next Avatar.
Yeah, but like nobody else is alive. Is Zuko alive?
Well, I don't want to tell you who is and who isn't.
Well, I know that Toph's dead.
No. Well, no. The only person she says is dead is Sokka. So everyone else is kind of a wish-wash. And that stuff we find out later.
Why is Sokka dead?
So
what about
I don't know. I feel like they really... we'll talk about this more later.
What about... oh my God, what's her name?
I am not going to comment on anyone until later in the series.
No, what's her name? Suki?
Suki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't really talk about Suki in this series, which made a lot of people sad. But
I liked her.
Yeah, Suki
it was kind of
cool.
weird that like Kisaka like had that one girlfriend, the princess, for like 3 episodes, and then she died, and then
became the moon.
Well, no, like he had Suki, and then he had the princess, and then he got Suki again.
Yeah,
I like Suki.
Yeah. But oh my gosh, where was I going with it? Oh yeah, so Sokka is like really the only one we have confirmed, and Aang obviously
that they're dead.
They kicked it, and I feel like Sokka doesn't get a lot of love in this series, in my humble opinion. We'll talk about that more later.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll get to it later. And so then Tenzin shows up. Tenzin is one of Aang and Katara's children.
Who's an airbender?
Who is an airbender? Yes, he's the only airbending out of the 3 of those kids.
Okay. And I thought you were about to say the only airbender left. I'm like, no, he's got kids.
He's got kids. Yeah, he has his own set of kids. He's got 3 kids, one on the way.
Who Katara can sense is gonna be an airbender?
Yeah,
How?
I think she's projecting.
How?
She's like,
I know
rub
she's
the
like
belly
older.
a
She
crystal
probably
ball.
learned some stuff.
Yeah, well, she's a healer. That's kind of part of her MO.
Is she? I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I only remember healing like once or twice.
Yeah,
But granted,
it
like,
comes up when it's
I
convenient.
guess like I'm thinking like how did she like with some of the characters I'm like, oh, how did they like learn how to do that? But then I'm kind of like, well, it's been 70 years. You can learn a lot.
Yeah, you got time.
You got plenty of time.
You got time for hobbies.
Also, I'm kind of wondering, like, I guess I just thought about this because like, we were saying, like, the kids, like, we meet also, like, another product, like, a product of somebody.
Yeah.
And, like, they're, like, we said they look at least, like, 40s or 50s. And,
Yeah, I think,
like,
I used to know the characters' ages off the top of my head. I think these guys are all, like, early 50s.
so, and then I'm thinking, like, well, Katara's probably, like, in her 80s. So, I'm, like,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, when did people start reproducing?
Pretty early, probably
Like
in their
20s?
Yeah. I mean, they all knew each other pretty young, so, you know, they got time.
I mean, Katara and Aang were together really young.
Yeah,
And
it was like 12.
And it stuck together. Yay.
Yay, happiness. Oh my gosh. So Tenzin's supposed to be there to teach Korra airbending because that's kind of her next element. But he's got some business back in Republic City, which is where he's from, which is Republic City's like what would you compare it to? I'd compare it to more of like a New York, kind of like because everybody's coming in from all over.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it kind
it's a
of
big
more,
city.
probably because like I've never been to like Japan. It kind of looked like that with like the Asian elements. But I think if you want to think like American city,
Yeah.
probably like New York.
Yeah, the American equivalent would probably be like New York. But he's on there's a council there, and he's on the council because he represents all the air people, all like 5 of them.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4.
4,
Well, I'd say
maybe
10.
5.
Baby, but baby's not there yet.
True. But, and so he's on the council. There's stuff going down. Can't really
What
teach you
stuff?
airbending.
Ooh.
Oh, we will find out.
Also, one more question.
Yeah.
I know, like, because I realized it's like over a while ago, like I like always like overthink stuff. So like I know it's just like nitpicking, but I have a point. Like, how come she's learning airbending now?
Because she just finished that. We just saw her finish her firebending.
Yeah,
thing.
but,
The
like,
next in the cycle. It's all about the cycle.
Yeah, but she already knew how to do like water, fire, and earth. Like she knew, like when she was a kid, she clearly knew knew what she was doing. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm wondering. Like, it took you 10 years,
Well, she still said up until that time she hadn't been able to bend air for some reason.
but it feels like nobody like taught her what to do until now. Like I figure like maybe like when you're like 10, well, I don't know. I'm overthinking.
I think you're overthinking just a little bit.
Yeah.
These are good questions, good discussion questions. And so Tenzin's like, can't teach you airbending now, kid. And she's like, Mer. And she's like, maybe I'll just run away. And Katara's like, do it. And so she takes.
Well, first
her
she says like, why don't I just go with you?
yeah. And he's like, nah.
Well, was it Tenzin who said nah, or was it the one
White
of the
Lotus.
guys?
I think it's the White Lotus
Who
was
said
like,
no?
nah.
I don't know
Like,
why.
you gotta stay here first. It's too dangerous in the city, he says.
Well,
It's
at this
too
point, like
dangerous.
nobody. At this point, like nobody knows that. Do they not know there's another Avatar? They don't know that it's Korra because like she like.
I think it's just that it's just a dangerous city. I mean,
Well, it sounded
so
like
there's
'cause it
like
sound-
gangs and stuff.
I mean, I don't know if they said this on like the second episode. Like, it sounded like she's like was like hiding up there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she just wasn't like largely like publicized because they knew the Avatar was out there. They just didn't know who it was, and it's not. I don't think they were trying to deliberately keep her hidden. I think it just wasn't in the spotlight, wasn't in the public eye. So they're just trying to keep her out of the public eye
Okay.
for safety reasons.
So then they say no, and then she runs away.
And then she runs away. She takes her lovely polar bear dog Naga, who I
Naga.
love. Oh, I love Naga.
I don't know why. Like, I might have been like a weird like image that I saw, but I thought like it was just, like a genuine polar bear.
Just a regular polar bear.
Yeah.
You can't really tell. It's the hind legs that kind of show that it's a dog.
Well, no, it's also like it's got a dog face and it's got like dog ears.
Oh yeah, like a mix.
Like the face is a dog. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so she heads away on a boat. Goes
Also,
to
like
Republic
she does
City.
say goodbye to her parents too, which is nice.
Oh yeah, the parents are like, yeah, peace. Yeah, she actually has parents that are alive, which is a switch for the Avatar universe. I feel like
Well,
having 2 alive parents,
yeah, I guess, but I guess like
2 alive together and happy parents. Let's put it like that.
I guess because like with the, I guess because thinking like with Aang, like obviously his parents would be dead because of that. But then
Because
with like,
genocide.
like I don't mind it if you have a dead parent as long as it makes sense that there's a dead parent.
Yeah.
And with like Katara and Sokka, it made sense that they had a
Yeah.
dead parent.
Yeah, well, that sort of has a lot of motivation, I think, for a lot of the characters.
Yeah, so I didn't mind it. Anyway,
But yeah, so it's nice to see a switch of like happy together parents in the
Hooray.
show. Anyway, so she's like, peace, parents. And then she leaves for Republic City, sneaks up on a boat. And then she just goes on, has some adventures in Republic City because she doesn't know this poor girl is very sheltered.
She's never
She
been-
doesn't know how a city works.
no, mainly that you drive cars and not polar bear dogs.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of cars, or they call them Sato mobiles
Satomobiles?
Satomobiles. We'll get into that later.
All right.
It makes more sense.
I like the cars though, because it's like
so cool looking.
It's kind of interesting, like the fact that like Avatar: Last Airbender kind of looked like it was like ancient city-ish.
Yeah.
And now this kind of looks, it feels like a 30s or like 1920s, 1930s, 40s, like that era.
Yeah.
Which I know is a lot of an era, but like.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like more of like the jazz post-industrial revolution, which is about 1910s, 1920s.
That's what it felt. Which I guess I find interesting. Like it only took them 70 years to get from like ancient times to 1920s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a weird kind of mix between like it was kind of at that edge of that industrial revolution on the Fire Nation, but the rest of the world kind of was still catching up because they still had
Stupid Fire
they
Nation.
had Zeppelins. They had gosh dang Zeppelins.
That's true.
In that series.
Stupid Fire Nation.
Yeah, Fire
ruining
Nation.
progress. We got better though.
Yeah, but so homegirl don't got no money.
Which again, you should probably get like if you're gonna run
she's
away,
so sheltered. She didn't
get money.
bring any
And if your parents know you're gonna go
coupons.
like away, you should probably give them some money.
Yeah. Well, what's the word about
Like $20 at least.
Yep.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, and then she meets a hobo who you were creeped out by.
He was creepy. Like I don't know, maybe
it was funny.
like it was just I don't know. He's like, hey, can I have some of your fish? And I'm like,
Ooh, this character has a name. I forgot his name. I know it
was
starts with a
it?
G. Gomu.
Gomu. Is that a homeless guy?
Yeah, the hobo. I just call him hobo.
All right.
Hobo or Sparkly Bushman, which was my favorite fan nickname.
See,
back
that
in the
also
day.
sounds weird though. Going with my mind.
Well, there's like Sparky Boom Man, you know, that was named for Combustion Man in the original series. That's what they called him. He's like Sparky Boom Man.
Okay.
And so like he had a sparkly bush, so they called him Sparkly Bushman, and I thought that was hilarious.
All right.
Anyway, that was a side note. And then gets chased by the police a little bit. And then she
she cooks
stumbles
some
upon
fish, and then she gets
Yeah.
chased by the police, and then she stumbles upon.
a protest of benders, and they're like, bending is
Well, they're not
they
benders.
oppress us.
Yeah.
Non-benders are
Dude,
being
the
like the
benders
benders are oppressive.
Like I get why, like it makes sense that, like honestly, like it would make sense that like the benders would oppress them.
Yeah, because it's like you're not as cool as us, or you
But-
can't do as much as us.
I'm kind of like wondering like how long it's been like for the benders to be oppressing them, because I don't feel like Aang's somebody who would oppress people.
No, he wouldn't oppress people.
And, like,
I don't think
Zuko at a
it's-
point, like at the end, like would not oppress people. And
No.
and even if he did, Katara would just like smack him across the face and be like, no.
True. I don't think it's necessarily. I wouldn't call it oppression, but it's probably like an underlying issue that's kind of been bubbling for a while, just because the nature of how those kinds of things work. But it's not really outwardly shown this early on, and I don't think it's something that's talked about in the comics, if I remember correctly from my very limited knowledge.
Well,
of the
also
comics.
like I'm kind of thinking because like so it's at least been 17 years since Aang died.
yes,
So that and like a lot and like a lot can
Lot can
change
happen
in
there.
17 years.
Yeah.
So that I would think that maybe it was
Inequality.
like pretty good. Maybe there was some like underground problems, but then once
Yeah.
Aang died and like they're hiding the Avatar
yeah.
a lot, probably
There's
went,
no one there to kind of balance
Yeah.
things out. Yeah.
which is okay.
Yeah, and so Korra gets kind of salty at those guys. Those guys getting get salty at her, and then she just leaves. And then she stumbles across a gang, right? The Triads,
It's funny 1920s gang.
the triple threat Triad, who are there to get some money from some people. And so she just beats them up, like
Yeah.
you do. She's
Yeah.
like, bad people, just
Which
gonna
again,
beat
they
them up and
probably
cause
should have been dead.
thousands in
literally,
property
like,
damage.
But like they should have like literally like she freezes a guy's head. That means you're dead. Like your brain. I know it's
Yeah.
a kid show.
I think she low key killed some people without actually killing them.
She didn't actually kill them. I just found it funny that they were dressed like 1920s gangsters. It was adorable.
Yeah, Shay.
Yeah.
We're the triple threat Triad, Shay.
Yeah.
And so so then the police show up, are like, thanks, but we're also going to arrest you too.
Which I like because like sometimes it's kind of like, oh look, I caught the bad guy, but then they don't arrest the
Yeah.
bad guy, or the bad guys get away.
Yeah.
And they just arrest like the person.
Right.
But I like the fact that like everybody got arrested.
Yeah.
Although she doesn't get arrested right away.
No.
There's another chase scene.
There's a chase scene. She's
There's a lot of
like,
chase-
oh,
there's a
hell
lot
no,
of
I'm
fight
not getting arrested.
scenes.
Yeah, she's a fighter. This child.
Well,
This-
first thing I was thinking,
he's
like,
a
is she
fighter.
really like hot headed? And then like going
Yeah.
on, I'm like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
Like Aang was like I do like the fact that like they're not just like it's not a repeat of Aang.
Yeah, they I think they really went out of the way to make it these two characters very, very different, which is really nice.
Like the fact that like Aang was like for the most part very mellow.
Yeah, well, he was just like this fun kid. He's peaceful. He's a monk. He's doing his monk.
Yeah,
thing.
well, like I think the one thing they do in common, like Korra is also kind of like fun loving and like she does like
Kind of in a
having
different
fun.
way, though.
But she's also like her like I think like Aang's way of having fun is like playing and like playing with some penguins or like meditating, and her idea of fun is beating people up.
Yay. Let's beat people up.
Yep.
And so she finally gets caught, and then she gets interrogated or questioned by the chief of police, Chief Lin Bei Fong, who is the daughter of Toph Bei Fong. So more kids.
More kids. I found it weird Toph like reproducing.
I know. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing that you're like, oh, okay.
Like, I'm not surprised. I don't know.
There's this really funny comic I read like a fan comic one time where it's just like Toph just like takes a pile of like rocks and suddenly it just forms into a baby and she's like, hey guys, I got a kid now.
See, that makes more sense. That makes sense to me. Maybe like, it's not that I don't see her like getting married to like a dude and like falling. Maybe I thought she was like into girls. I guess also because like, I guess maybe because, she was the same age as Aang and like they didn't really play up romance with her at all.
Well, no, she had a crush on Sokka though. You remember that? I remember that passionately. Yeah,
but everybody had a crush on Sokka. I had a crush on Sokka,
but she definitely had a big crush on Sokka. So that was a thing.
Wait, does that mean am I no? Okay. I mean, it could have I'm kind of like if it's like that kind of thing, it's like, oh yeah, it's like a childhood crush on them, and then like years later, like they ended up getting together, they realized they were in love. I actually I like that. Yeah, it's cute. I'm like, oh, I get like there is like that like age difference when you're younger, but then when you get older, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, that's a point I want to get back to. Probably not until like 3 seasons down the line. That's something. No, that's something that comes kind of. It doesn't. That point particularly doesn't come back up. But like as more characters start to come up and you see these more connections, I'll have many words. But for now, does that mean that Zuko cheated? No, that it's the Katara cheated on Aang with Zuko, which I also don't approve of.
No.
Okay, good.
Even though some people really wish that would have happened.
I'm that one person.
Zuko and Katara had a huge following back
I'm that one person. Like I didn't want them. I didn't want them together. They didn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's people just. I don't know, man. But anyway, so Lynn's she's kind of a hard ass, but like I love her. And then Tenzin comes in and is like. Hey, yeah, and they're like,
I feel like they were probably friends when they were kids. I mean, not friends when they were kids, but like knew each other when they were kids. Well,
definitely. I think all those kids were probably really close. And then Tenzin, they get out of jail, and then Tenzin's like, you got to go home, kid. And then I don't know, and then something happens, whatever, and then Tenzin's like, just kidding, kid, you can stay. I'll teach you airbending. And
why are you sounding like he's like 1920s? Tenzin,
yeah, sure. We're gonna learn airbending, sure.
Yeah, I was like, Tenzin's on it. Tenzin's like like the monk.
Yeah, he is very monk. Like he's a very.
I said monkey, but I'm like, wait, that doesn't work. I was like monkey.
Stick in the mud. He's kind of a stick in the mud.
Yeah.
And so Korra gets to stay and learn airbending, and then there's a press conference at the end,
which I found weird. Like, why is there a press conference? Is it because like I guess like thinking because like some people did actually like see her, but that was only like. I guess like the chase maybe with the whole town, but she didn't even do that much bending then. Yeah. So it's probably only like 6 people who saw her. Mm-hmm. Like you can cover that up. Like maybe like don't say that this is the Avatar right now. Yeah. Because somebody might come after her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's kind of goes into the scene that we end on. We have this couple of dudes listen to the radio in a room, and then
old timey radio.
Yeah, and then then you see the guy in the mask.
Yep.
And then he turns around and he's like, something. So
he's the bad guy?
Yeah, that's the bad guy.
All right.
He's there to be bad.
I mean, because I asked you like who the voice actor was.
Yeah, it was Steve Bloom.
Yeah, which is probably because like it's the only voice actor, like male voice actor who I actually like I know a couple voice actors. Yeah. But I thought it was Mark Hamill.
Oh, no, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's Ozai in last series, but no, he's not.
Probably because like I was just listening to the Nerdist and it was Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Oh, so what a guy.
That was fun. I think because I'm thinking I was like, is Mark Hamill the only like male voice actor who I'm aware exists? And I'm like, no, because I know the Troy Baker exists.
But yeah, no, this is Steve Bloom, a very well-known voice actor, does a lot of video games, anime, those types of things.
Yeah, none stuff I do.
Yeah, but he's in a ton of stuff, so I'm sure if we looked at a list, we could find a few things. And then he says, we have to accelerate the plans. And you're like, what plans? But then the episode ends, and we're like, who is this guy?
They're going to murder the Avatar, and then another one will come. Or you can murder the Avatar. Yeah, but you can't technically like cut off the Avatar line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that. You could actually do
Yeah.
it. That was a plot point that was important, though.
That was a very important plot point. That was good. But anyway, so that is episode 1. Welcome to Republic City. I know you watched this one before, but was there any new thoughts you had upon watching this again?
This show's like really pretty, like animation-wise.
Oh, I love the animation's beautiful.
Like, especially, I mean, compared to like the original, like it looks like they gave them a bit more of a budget.
Yes.
Like, and not saying like the first series wasn't pretty, especially like the finale of the Avatar: Last Airbender, which was gorgeous.
Oh, yes. I
admired some good animation. This was really pretty.
Yeah.
And then we didn't bring this up because I forgot about it, but like there was that point where one of the grandkids was like, "What happened to Zuko's mom?" And then Guitar's like about to say it, and then like another kid comes by, and I'm like, I think I'm only one of the people like I don't really care.
Yeah, I think
I don't know what, like I think like somebody told me what it was, or maybe you told me what it was.
Oh, because I get kind of salty about that because that's one of the stories that they do in the comics, but I really didn't like how they handled it in the comics.
Like just literally thought that like the dad was just kind of like, oh, you just like, because you are not good, you need to go away, and then maybe somebody had her killed. Like I just assumed that's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, like
But yeah.
I've seen the Fire Lord. Like he's not a good guy.
No, he's kind of a bad dude.
That's why you get Mark Hamill. He's always played a bad guy except for Star Wars.
True. But he's so good at being bad.
Yeah. Did you like see that thing where like I listened to a little bit. He like read
Donald Trump tweets.
That's the Joker.
Yeah, that was great. He's such a I love his Joker voice. It's so good. But unfortunately, Mark Hamill is not in this series. At least, not that I remember. He doesn't play any big characters.
I wouldn't be surprised. I might bring some of the random thing, but I like the fact that like he just like went from like Star Wars and like thinking like because he's like in one of those franchises that like what happens after like you do that, and he just went right into voice acting and like. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, he's such a good voice actor. Mm-hmm. Hot dang.
Yeah, but I think because I thought there was like more characters that were introduced, and I think it was either because maybe I thought like maybe I did watch the second episode, but like I didn't remember the second episode at all.
Well, the first and second were kind of aired together. So.
Again, I didn't watch the one. I watched like.
So they are kind of meant to be like that pilot. Like Welcome to Republic City is like the real pilot, but the other one, the second episode, they usually were. Kind of placed together,
but like,
so that's where a lot of the more main
but like,
characters are
I didn't remember actually watching it, so because there was points I'm like, oh, and then I think I just saw a clip of something, or I knew some stuff that happened. Anyway, yeah, but it was a solid. Like, I mean, it's like if the first 2 episodes put combined as a pilot, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
and then like it works.
Yeah,
so because this was like a good like first half, and a good setup. Yeah,
cool.
That's it. It was good.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of first halves, that finishes the first half of this episode. Stay tuned, and we're going to talk about episode 2, A Leaf in the Wind. Okay, we are back. Continue watching Legend of Korra with episode 2 of book 1, A Leaf in the Wind.
See, like every time now I just hear Leaf in the Wind, you just get flashbacks.
Oh, no. I forgot about that until you reminded me, like, while we were watching the episode, and then I got really salty, and then I started thinking about Firefly, and I didn't want to start thinking about Firefly.
I'm about to say, we're not, like, saying what it was, but, like, I hope that, like, if you at least, like, listen to this episode, you've watched our Firefly stuff.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we won't say like what happened.
At the very least, the end of Firefly, because I thought that was a good episode.
Anyway, the episode or the movie?
Well, us doing the movie was a good episode of our podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we are back at Republic City on Air Temple Island, and it is time for Korra to try to start learning airbending.
And
the thing is, she's terrible at it.
Yeah, it's nice that like she is terrible. Like, because like I felt like with the pilot, like I kind of felt like, oh, she's like really good at like all the stuff.
Yeah,
nice to find something you're like. No, I'm generally terrible at this.
Yeah, she can't even bend air. She's never even been able to bend air before. So then Tenzin starts trying to teach her the basics of all that,
and it doesn't go well.
No, it goes terribly. She can't meditate. She can't go through the spinny thing. She can't be the leaf.
I related to her.
Be the leaf.
I did start to relate to her.
I'm doing the hand motions.
I did start to relate to her because like she was like, oh, I can't meditate, and as somebody who can't really meditate, I'm like, or like I can meditate a little bit, but like it took me a while, and I like did different forms of it, and it's like didn't work for me. So like I'm like, I feel you, girl. Meditation, it's hard to meditate.
Yeah,
because like literally just like forget everything and just like being like just like focus on breathing. It's really hard.
Yep.
Like, I've learned how to do it, like, a bit better, but, like, it's freaking hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really try to meditate often. I just zone out a lot. Does that count?
No, because you still think, no, the idea is that you shouldn't be thinking of anything.
Oh, I can't do that.
I remember, like, when I was, like, I had somebody to teach me basically saying, like, the way, like, I started to do it, it's, like, you, like, set a timer on your phone, and then you, like, just shut up everything. You set the timer for, like, 2 minutes, and then just, like, focus on your breathing for 2 minutes, and keep doing that until, like, you get the hang of it, and then you go up, like, in minutes.
Ooh, that's weird. Okay.
But I think it's clever.
I respect it.
Because I tried it with music, and that didn't work either, because I'm like, pretty music.
Yeah. But so we have kind of two aspects of this episode. We have trying to learn airbending and then pro bending, which are very different things. Or are they?
So the sport's called pro bending.
Yes.
That's a weird name for a sport.
Well,
and it seems kind of like, that seems kind of mean. Like,
well, like pro professional. Not like pro, like, bending.
Okay, yeah.
Like professional bending. Like, that's a sport.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know.
Sorry, I just thought that.
You know what I also thought? And, like, I don't remember why I thought this. Maybe I saw it from a clip in, like, a later episode. But, like, I thought that they had, like, what are, like, those things they use? Like, when you know, like, we see people, and they're, like, fighting, and they have, like, those, like, sticks, and you just, like, go like that.
Oh.
I thought it was, like, with that.
No.
All right.
Nah, brah.
But I was trying to figure out how you play the sport. So it's, like, football combined with dodgeball combined with Quidditch.
Yeah. Pretty much. And, like, with, like, kind of a, I don't know, there's, like, a weird boxing element because they, like, punch and kick and kind of UFC. I don't really know. I don't know sports. We don't know sports. We just watch TV all day.
No, we know Quidditch.
We know Quidditch.
I know how to play
Fictional
Quidditch.
Sports. So that's kind of the other part of this episode. Korra's like, oh, man, pro bending is so cool. And Tenzin's like, no, it's not.
He's a stick in the mud.
Yeah, he's a stick in the mud. He's like, oh, this isn't part of your training. And so that's kind of... Yeah, it's kind of that. I think I kind of out of track with the process of this episode, but that's really all that.
Well, we meet some characters.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that's kind of what's happening up until Korra decides to leave the island and go to the pro bending arena, which is literally just a hop, skip, and jumping away if you can swim and bend water. And so she sneaks into the pro bending arena and she's checking everything out. She's like, oh man, this is cool. She gets kind of caught by the guy that owns the place, and he's like, Mrr.
I called him Mickey because he kind of reminded me of Mickey from Rocky. Like that guy, the trainer.
Yeah. And so...
How dare somebody.
Oh, okay. And then... So she gets talked by this guy, and then thankfully somebody's walking by to save the day and say like, it's a lady. I will go talk to the lady and rescue her. And that is our good friend Bolin.
I liked him.
I love Book One Bolin. He's a good guy.
Oh, you're saying he gets worse?
No,
or you don't want to talk about it?
I will avoid spoilers, but everybody's character like evolves as the seasons go on. This is the version of Bolin I like the best, and so you will make your judgments as you go on.
Okay,
that's my personal.
I was thinking because like he kind of like, I don't know like why it was kind of like if you like animated and then like at anime-ish, if you did that to Jason Ritter, that's what he looked like to me.
Oh,
so I thought he was cute because I think Jason Ritter's kind of cute.
But yeah, so Bolin is a member of one of the pro bending teams, the Fire Ferrets, along with his brother Mako, which you picked up on the name. Which I was kind of surprised.
Well, I knew that actually. Like,
yeah,
because I knew that. I guess maybe the nostalgia critic. Like, I thought his name. I wasn't sure if he said Mako or Mako.
Yeah,
it's Mako. Yeah, so like I knew that he was the voice of Iroh.
Yeah.
In the original series, and then he sadly passed away. And so they named a character after him.
Yeah, that's what they did. And so Bolin is the earthbender and Mako is a firebender, and they have this third guy on their team named Hasuk. He's the waterbender, but nobody really cares about Hasuk because he's only there for like 3 seconds.
Oh, so we never see him again?
I don't think so. All
right.
I honestly don't. Yeah, he's not important. Just ignore that guy.
All right.
And so Bolin is this. He's cute. He's like oh yeah. He's like trying to impress the lady, trying to impress Korra. Mako's kind of a jerk. He's kind of like he's brooding. He's emo.
Yeah.
He is. His own kind of.
I wonder who Korra's gonna get with.
It's. I love how it's like when two characters look at each other and you're like, oh man, it's gonna happen.
Well, because
that's
like,
all they have to do.
Because I never actually because I don't really play video games, but I watch a lot of people like I watch a lot of Let's Play videos. Yeah. So you know the video game Beyond Two Souls? That's like.
I'm like I know that one.
It's the one with like David Cage, and it's like it's if you look at it story-wise, it's like pretty terrible and horrible.
Yeah.
but it's got Ellen Page, and like there's like one point because she basically got like a ghost thing connected to her. It's weird, but she joins the CIA because they find out about this, and there's like this one guy who like is also like kind of brooding and annoying, who's like her like head person, and like he's like, and like they did the training thing, and he's like, oh yeah, not that bad, and then they ended up getting together in the video game for a bit. And it kind of reminded me of that. So it reminded me of that, except I feel like this is going to be better plot development-wise, because I remember in that, like, video game, they kind of, like, the story was all over the place.
Yeah.
And, like, there's, like, the point where, like, she's about to, like, she's, like, getting recruited, and, like, or she has to be recruited, and she's like, fuck you, guy. And then the next scene, they're like, no, I really like him because it's the jumps in time. And I'm like, that didn't make any sense. But it reminded me of that.
Oh, my God.
So hopefully it'll be better developed.
Yeah. I'm going to refrain from comment because I will let you be the judge of however this cluster is developed. Anyway, so they play. So we get to see kind of a pro bending match go into place. Fire Ferrets, they're competing for the title. I mean, it's not the title yet, but they're trying to make their way to the title. And so you get to see it's exciting, you know, going back and forth. You're trying to figure out the rules because they don't really explain the rules. I think that's really interesting. There's never a point in the series where they have like one of those things where like, this is the rules of pro bending. You just kind of have to watch and try to figure it out. Although I think it's pretty easy to figure out.
I just said it's like, because like I was kind of confused. The first was like dodgeballs. I'm like, okay, so they get hit and then they're gone, and then but there's like the zones.
Yeah, there's like a zone thing.
So it's like basically like if you like step into one of the zones and you have to, then everybody moves back, and the point is like to get them all in the water, which kind
everybody
of
try to get further,
and like getting back in the zone thing kind of reminded me of football, which is why I said that. And then the fact that if you knock them all out at once, you win, which reminded me of Quidditch because like if you get the snitch, then you
win.
Yeah.
So, and then they do that, and then they win, and it's like, whoa, that's so cool. And Korra's like, that's so cool, and Mako's like, whatever. Avatar. And then they find out that Korra's the Avatar, which is cool.
Yeah.
Then she's like, yeah, I can bend this element and this element. And they're like, what? And he's like, you're the Avatar and I'm an idiot. And she's like, huh, but they're right, son.
And I'm like, they're going to get together.
They're going to get together.
Clearly.
Spoiler alert.
Because that's how, how's that a spoiler? I figured that out in 2 seconds.
I know. No, that was a joke.
Because that's how romance works.
That's how romance works. You hate each other and then you do it.
Like they don't seem like they hate each other.
You're snarky towards each other.
Yeah.
And then you do it. That's really how romance works in television.
Even though there's like the one guy, the Jason Ritter looking kind of guy is kind of like already right there and clearly into you.
Yeah. And he seems very nice and like a good person.
Yeah. Is this going to end badly?
This is going to end in some kind of way.
All right.
We're just going to have to.
I've heard you complaining about this. I just don't remember what happened.
Oh my gosh. I get kind of salty about it. We'll get into that because there's the one episode in particular that I just like, I get really salty. Anyway, so that happens.
And then she goes back and then
she goes back. And then at the next pro bending match, Hasuk doesn't show up.
Well, there's also that bit with her and Tenzin because like she keeps trying to airbend and it doesn't work, so then she just firebends.
Oh yeah, they're training, and then she gets really mad, and then destroys a 2,000-year-old
and like
artifact.
And like she basically complains about his teaching methods, and I'm like, but she has a point. Like, like I said in the commentary, there's a point where like you realize like, oh, the teaching method isn't working for the student because not every teaching method works for every student. Yeah. You need to do something else.
Right.
And then it sounds like, point. Yeah, you're the worst, Dad.
Yeah, Daddy, you're a terrible teacher.
But then, and then his daughter's just like, I like this family. They're really fun.
They're a great family. I love all those characters.
Because there's a bit like where Korra's like not at dinner, and then his wife is just what's his wife's name?
Pema.
Pema? What's his name?
Yeah. Oh, she's sweet.
Yeah, and she's like basically like, you need to give her some space. And like the bit of Tenzin like talking to his daughter's like, tell me you're not gonna promise me you're not gonna act like this when you're teenagers, and the one's like, I make no promises.
I will make no such promises.
I felt like I might have said that to my dad when I turned into a teenager.
It's important to not make promises like that. So we had some more training, and also there's a part where Bolin was showing for a little bit of pro bending, and we find out that it's a very different style of bending than like the traditional bending.
Well, it kind of looks like if you combined it like bending with like UFC fighting.
Yeah, exactly. So it's different than like your traditional stances and some of those moves. You really it's modernized in more of a kind of like a street way,
which is also different UFC for Korra because she's been trained in like the ancient way.
Yeah, she's been in a very traditional way. So that's kind of
I like that.
That's a really interesting. Yeah, I get to see it's not just the technology that's developing. It's not just the clothing and the times. It's the bending changes as well with the times. And so that's really cool. And it becomes not just like an ancient art. It becomes a sport and people do it.
Like a lot of stuff does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's really cool to see. Kind of like how that developed over time. And so then it's the next pro bending match. And our bro Hasuk, he didn't show up. And they're like, we need a waterbender. And she's like, I know a guy.
Well,
Girl. And they're like, can you do that if you're the Avatar? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not?
That was my question. Like, can the Avatar actually do? Like, I know, like, yes, you can only, like, yes, you can just say, like, I'm only going to use, like, this one bending skill. But, like, and then this come point out, like, is that cheating if you have somebody who can technically do all these elements?
It's a good question. And
they say it's okay as long as she uses one element.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's what they say. And so she gets in the ring, and then she does actually end up bending more than one element because she gets frustrated.
Well, she's terrible at it.
She's terrible at it. Yeah, she doesn't know. It's a totally different style. She may be a master at literally 3 of the 4 elements, but she doesn't know how to pro bend. Yeah. And so she's terrible at it.
Yeah. I mean, I did find it interesting, like, we guess with this, like, fighting thing that there is no air bending, but then I'm like, oh, yeah. Somebody killed them all.
There was that genocide, remember?
Good times.
Yikes.
Good times.
And so Tenzin shows up because he hears that she's in the ring and they have a tiff.
And she's like, I gotta, like, at that point I would have been like, you should probably just, like, at least let her, like, finish the fight.
Yeah, and he's like, and she's like, I don't need to learn airbending. He's like, I need to learn modern types of bending. He's like, no, you need to learn airbending. And they're both right because
they are both right.
You have to learn, you have to keep with the times, but you can't forget the basics or the traditional stuff. So then she gets back in the ring after being knocked out, and they fight a little more, and then it clicks, and she finally starts doing airbender type things, but not airbending, just doing like the moves.
Yeah, I had a small problem with this. I don't know why, but like I didn't notice the part where it clicked. She just kind of did it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was just kind of like, it's the end of the episode, we have to do it now.
I would have found it interesting though, like if she just kind of did it and then like went after like the end of the fight, because spoiler, they win.
Yeah.
I would have found it interesting if like she did that and then Tenzin pointed out like, no, you were airbending, and she's like, oh, I didn't even realize. Like it just kind of clicked. Like that was the first time it clicked, and then like people kind of realized like maybe this like pro bending thing would help you when it clicked.
Yeah.
Because that was a big thing, like basically saying like it just needs to click.
Right.
And that was when it did.
Yeah. Yeah. So it clicks, they win, and Tenzin's like, sure, you can pro it. I guess it helps. And then she's like, cool, I joined the Firebirds permanently. Okay, bye.
And then the staring.
And then there's that end scene where like Korra's like looking out. She's looking at the pro bending thing. She's like, oh man, it looks so cool over there.
And then
Mako is like, he's like staring at the window. He's like, yeah.
I'm going to tap that.
Yeah. He's like, oh, there's a lady.
I'm going to tap that. I did find it funny because like usually like when you see that like any kind of movie, like they're technically like supposed to be like kind of like staring towards each other. Yeah. But it's clear that Korra clearly was not staring towards Mako. She was staring at the arena.
Pro bending arena, yeah.
And he's kind of like,
it's really funny.
I could tap the Avatar all sorts of ways. Fire bending ways, earth bending ways, other ways, all the ways. It's a children's show.
Yeah, true. So that was that. So this is a good episode because it was kind of that back half of that really kind of pilot chunk, and we're introduced to 2 more of our main characters who are Mako and Bolin. We get a major element that which is pro bending and the different types of bending, and then we kind of start seeing a little bit of that air bending training in there. So a lot of stuff happened this episode.
And also like nothing with the like villains or like the protests or anything.
We don't see really any antagonistic elements.
Which was interesting considering like the pro bending like game and stuff. When you think there'd be some protesting.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, that was really, that part was really
freaking out the boss.
It was just really out of focus this episode because there was other things to tackle. If they threw that element in there, though, it would have been too muddled.
I agree.
Episode.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just like maybe like later on there might be a protest.
Yeah, I'm looking at the episode list now, and it's not gonna be long until we see those.
Although maybe it's like also would be like a thing where it's kind of like, oh yeah, like screw benders, but like we like the games. No, they turn pro bending. It'll be like the Hunger Games.
Oh my god.
Just murder them all.
Just kill them all. It's fine. Pro bend to the death. They just put spikes at the bottom instead of water.
That wouldn't work well for the rounds.
Right. Yeah, there's only one round. That round is your life. So any other thoughts on this episode? Character-wise, plot-wise?
I mean, I would say, like, it does kind of, like, seem like one of those, like, typical... You know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of, like, the step-up movies. Like, the characters, at least. You got, like, this, like, tough chick coming in, or tough guy, whatever, like, just coming in, and then you got, like... Or any kind of, like, young adult thing where you got, like, the one person coming into the thing, and then you got, like, the funny person, and then you got the brooding person.
Yep.
And then you're kind of, like, they do the thing... There's going to be a romance, clearly, with one of them. Right. Probably should end up with the funny one because of the way they work.
Yep.
But then you got the brooding one who they're probably going to end up with because...
Reasons.
Get
the straight people. Anyway, so, yeah. So, yeah, I
mean, I'm liking the series so far. I mean, like I said, like, I don't really like to, like, fully judge a show based on, like, one season. Or, like, at least the first season because, like, you're trying to... like figure out what the show is, but I guess it kind of works better with like animation because like it takes longer, so you can figure it out a bit better.
Yeah,
and also considering it's a sequel series, so like they already have the world set up, and they already have like most of the rules set up in the world, so they know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we're still really early on in the series. There's some main characters that we haven't met yet. I wonder who they could be, and I'm very excited to meet them. So that. Yeah, and very excited about the characters we met because some of these are my favorites. So, yeah. Any other last minute? No, I'm good. Okay. That was good. Awesome. Well, that concludes this episode of First Reaction, Fan Reaction. I am your host, Kaylin Clothier, with my co-host... Dara Whitman. I'm still awesome. Here. And so if you like these episodes and want to watch more, you can always check us out on YouTube, which is probably what you're watching this on right now. Follow us on Twitter at WittyClose. Email us at wittyclose@gmail.com. All those other links are going to be below, so check us out. And don't forget to subscribe, like our stuff. We really appreciate it when you do that. Also like us on Facebook at Witty Close Productions. And Patreon. Yeah. Oh, and follow us on Patreon. Yeah. Or become a patron. Yeah, become a patron. We would love to see you there. If you become a patron, you get some other cool perks, like getting to see some of our commentary on these episodes. And let me assure you, they are hilarious. Yep, and other episodes that will come up eventually. Eventually. Yeah, we are working on it. Anyway, so, peace. Peace.